This podcast is suitable for students between the ages of 16 to 25. If you're interested in self-improvement, productivity, study tips, this is the podcast for you.
Welcome to the Sweet and Sour Podcast.
My name is Abdulmumuni Hikmat. I'm a student just like you. I'm passionate about personal development and productivity. So, if this is your first time listening to this amazing voice, don't make it your last. If not, sweetie, you know how we roll now. Let me hear you say H to the I to the Q, to the M to the A and the T. H to the I to the Q, to the M to the A and the T. H to the I to the Q, to the M to the A and the T. Hi, sweetie. Welcome back to another episode. So, if you did not read the title of this episode very well and you're a guy, please reread and know that this episode is not for you. Thank you. Okay, ladies, so today I am going to teach you some useful tricks that you can use if you desperately want to, if, Sixter, say you're paying so much attention. Oh my God. Okay, so, this episode is actually dedicated to every guy who listens to this podcast, honestly. Initially, I wanted to have a podcast where it was like only girls stuff, bossy, classy babes kind of vibes. That kind of podcast that would give any girl who listens this whole girl power thing. And then, one day I sat back and I just laughed at myself, really. Like, I was just becoming something that, we constantly complained of. And that is like, how we say this thing, like nobody's talking to the guys, everyone is always focusing on the ladies, and we're always like, we get very annoyed, and it feels so tiring, because they're always telling you you're a girl, but anyways, you're a girl, so just allow yourself to be treated softly, girls. I wanted to make it a podcast that ladies could relate to, and guys as well should be able to relate. I didn't want to now focus it on ladies anymore. I just decided to just give it a switch, something like that. So I wouldn't say a lot of guys listen to my podcast, honestly, because from my analytics is 60% females and 40% males, and I feel like that's fair enough. But to the few guys who listen and give me the right energy to keep publishing these episodes that are not so gender based, and some of these guys actually get back to me and give me reviews. Oh, Hikmat, that episode was nice. Oh, Hikmat, this that. So when I imagine what it feels like, or what it might feel like to be a guy, I just shiver. I'm like, okay, nah, thank God I'm a girl, something like that. Although women will still argue that being females is harder, but can we really tell when we've never really been on the other side of the coin? As I sit back to actually record this episode, I remember someone. Okay, let's call this someone X, like letter X, not like my ex. You get, not the EX that you guys are thinking right now. So X is a relative of mine. So that's the only information I want to share about X that is true. I remember X always talking about wanting to have money while I was growing up. Say I was maybe 10, 11. He wanted to get money by all means, even to the extent of doing this whole Yahoo thing and everything. So at the time, I used to think that X wasn't contented, or that, peer pressure was just eating X up, and, he just wanted to seek for money that he didn't lose. I used to wonder why, even though his parents provided for him, he still wanted more money. Why? Yeah. But you see, now I feel like I know better, because with adulting, there is just a whole lot of burden, and then you begin to wish you had saved every penny you got as a gift when you were a little kid. You begin to want to take care of yourself better, you want to look good, you begin to have so much to pay for as a student, and so on. Prices that you were used to as a kid suddenly hikes up, and I feel like as we grow, we suddenly begin to realize how money is so important, and that if we must have the future that we want, we need money. And in the case of guys, I don't know, but what I think is, they've been told from a young age that they are the provider, and which is of course true. And there's this thing we always feel about just making our own money, and as young as we are, and we don't want to disturb our parents every little time we need money. All these feelings are valid, honestly, and I'm sure X felt the same way, but we must go about things the right way. So I'm not Yoruba, but Yoruba people used to say this thing, and I quote, "Nǹkan tí ò dá ò lórúkọ méjì." So correct me if I'm wrong, but what I understand by this is what is bad doesn't have two names, which literally means, or simply put, what is bad is bad. Like, a prostitute can literally sit you down and tell you her life story, and oh my god, you'd be shook. You might even cry because you wouldn't have imagined her going through all that. But that doesn't make prostitution a good thing, does it? No, it doesn't. It doesn't make prostitution an option, honestly. So here is a shout out to that guy that is trying to make money the right way and not trying to cheat people to make money. Honestly, I know it's hard. Maybe I don't know how hard it is. I know it's hard though. I know it's frustrating when you could just do shortcuts, and then but you just don't want to give in to the pressure. And here is to the guy that cries inside because society has made you bottle up your emotions, and they'll say you're a man, and they'll say be a man. Here's to the guy that is respectful and kind. Here's to the guy with big dreams and aspirations. Here is to the guy that is content. Here is to the guy that made lots of bad decisions but is still trying to make themselves better every single day. It's really okay to break down. I don't suggest publicly though. It's okay not to have all the money you think you want now. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to show empathy. It's okay to be kind. You're a man and you're also human. Though today is not like, okay, boy child day or whatever, but I just literally feel like I needed to say this because honestly, I know so many amazing guys out there, and so whoever is telling you girls that they aren't good guys, I can't relate because honestly, I have met like really, 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 really amazing guys who are just like friends, honestly. And guys, they're also good girls. Depends on who's looking. Anyways, I hope with these few points of mine, you figured out that this episode was in fact for guys. If you liked this episode, please just do me a favor by dropping a review on Spotify or Apple Podcast, depending on where you're listening from. You can also share with your friends, and you can follow up on Instagram at Tweet and Sour Podcast. No, at Tweet and Sour Pod, not at Tweet and Sour Podcast. So till 2 weeks time again, because now I update bi-weekly if you did not know. In the next 2 weeks I'll be back to your ears. Bye.